Welcome to the debate. Imagine hosting an open house where the line just wraps around the block. Yet by Monday morning, you have zero offers.
Yeah, it sounds crazy, but that is the exact paradox we're seeing right now.
Right, exactly. And before we dive into the psychology behind it, this report is brought to you by Nikki and John Baptiste of Local Realty Agency Mid-Cities. So looking at the May 2026 Hurst housing market, we are seeing foot traffic absolutely surge, yet closed sales they've dropped off a cliff.
Oh, totally. Which really forces a tough question for first-time sellers. Do you, spend capital to perfect your home's condition to win over highly selective buyers?
Or do you leverage historically low inventory to aggressively test the upper limits of pricing? See, I argue that these plummeting close rates demand flawless condition and realistic pricing right from day one.
Well, I come at it from a different way. If you look at the underlying mechanics of scarcity right now, the math strongly favors pushing those price limits.
Wait, pushing the limits? Really?
Yes, when inventory collapses and market speed accelerates, the leverage shifts entirely to the seller. It's just basic economics.
I see why you think that, but let me give you a different perspective based on the actual financial reality of the buyer. We can't treat every person walking through the door as a guaranteed blank check.
Sure, but
Look, yes, buyer traffic in Hurst is actually up 10.2%, but closed sales plummeted 35.1%. Why is that?
it's just market friction.
No, it comes down to debt-to-income limits. Buyers are stretching their approvals to the absolute maximum just to afford this market. When they see a home that needs a new HVAC or, heavy cosmetic overhauls, they don't negotiate, they just walk.
Right, but they literally lack the cash reserves after closing to fix it. Condition isn't just a bonus right now, it is a baseline requirement.
That is a compelling argument, but have you considered the opportunity cost of over-preparing a house? You are asking a first-time seller who desperately needs every dollar of equity for their next down payment to sink precious capital into pristine staging and repairs.
Because they have to.
Do they, though?
We're talking about a market with only 73 homes available, and median days on market collapsed to just 8 days. 8 days!
I know, the numbers are wild.
Exactly. Scarcity is the dominant force here, not fresh paint. Sellers should absolutely test the ceiling and capture that 8.1% median price appreciation before draining their own liquidity.
I have to admit some confusion here, though. If the median days on market is truly 8 days, how can you advise a first-time seller to risk letting their house sit while they, quote-unquote, test the ceiling? The penalty for stalling is massive.
But the demand is clearly there.
Demand doesn't mean closed deals. Overpricing a mediocre home in this environment is like setting a trap with no bait. The 10.2% bump in showings proves buyers are actively looking, right?
Yeah, of course.
But that 35% plunge in close rates proves they refuse to bite on overpriced inventory. If a home feels neglected, that initial 8-day window closes. The listing goes stale, and that is an incredibly expensive lesson.
I'm sorry, but I just don't buy that it's a complete walk-away scenario. Let me tell you why. That drop in close rates isn't buyers leaving the market entirely. It is just the friction of price discovery.
Price discovery? So they're just window shopping?
No, sellers are testing new ceilings, which naturally leads to prolonged, harder negotiations. When inventory drops by over 14%, sellers aren't just selling a home. They are selling access to a zip code.
Oh, wow. So you're saying location covers up a bad roof?
Pretty much. A buyer who needs to be in Hurst just doesn't have the luxury of skipping a home over minor imperfections. The scarcity forces compromise on the buyer's end, not the seller's.
I'm not convinced by that line of reasoning because you're assuming those buyers will eventually capitulate. But the data shows they are flat out rejecting homes that don't justify the price tag.
They'll come around when they see there's nothing else.
But turning a fast transaction into a stalled, stigmatized listing just because of seller ego, that does not maximize return. It destroys leverage.
So we are really looking at two entirely different risk tolerances here. My view is that historically low inventory provides a structural safety net, allowing sellers to aggressively test the upper market limits to maximize their return.
And, well, from my perspective, the sheer financial strain on buyers creates this hyper-selective environment, meaning Pristine condition and exact pricing are completely non-negotiable if you actually want to close the sale.
Fair enough. But we certainly agree that Hurst is currently an unforgiving, selective market. The days of making emotional six-figure decisions without a precise strategy are just gone.
Absolutely. Sellers can't assume a quick sale despite low inventory, and buyers can't expect turnkey perfection without paying the premium.
Exactly. Examining the friction between buyer hesitation and seller leverage is really the only way to understand the true mechanics of this shifting market.
Spot on. We will leave it to you